students. Welcome to the class. In the previous class, we had discussed raster scan display. Okay. So today we have studied or we have discussed about random scan display. In this class, we have covered concept of random scan display, working principle of random scan display, advantages and disadvantages, and also what are the difference between raster scan and random scan. Okay, so let us discuss what is random scan display. Random scan display is the use of geometrical primitives such as points, lines, curve and polygons, which are all based upon the mathematical equation. But raster scan display is a consist of dots or known as pixels. Okay. But random scan display is the use of different types of geometrical primitives like point, line, curve, polygon, all these things. Okay. Or these things are based upon the mathematical equation. It is also called vector display, stroke writing display, calligraphy display. Okay. Here is the example or image of the vector display or random scan display. In this figure, the original picture is this, but when we draw this picture, first of all we draw like this, then we color it and some shadowing effects, all these things are here. But this image is used using the lines, curves, different polygons, all these things are included in this random scan picture or in this random scan display. Okay. Next, come to the point, working principle. Vector scan display or random scan display directly traces out only the desired lines on CRT. Not only the sequential lines, it only directly traces the desired lines on the CRT. Okay. If you want line between point P1 and point P2, then we directly draw the beam deflection circuitry which focus beam directly from point P1 to P2. Okay. If we do not want to display line from P1 to P2, then just move. We can blank the beam as we move it. Okay. To move the beam across the CRT, the information about both magnitude and direction is required. This information is generated with the help of vector graphics generator. In the random scan display or vector scan display, if we want to draw a line from 2 points, then we directly draw on that point. Not like this not like raster graphics system or raster scan system. Okay. In the raster scan system, what we will do? What do? We draw the lines, every scan lines. At a time, one scan lines we will scan this. After that, we will draw a picture or image. But here we do not all the scan lines we will scan. only the point which we want to draw, or the line which we want to draw, only these things we will cover, we will draw it. Okay. Architecture of random scan display. It consists of display controller. This is the display controller, CPU, then display buffer memory, CRT, and lastly keyboard and mouse. All these things are included in the random scan display. Okay. What are the different roles, or what are the different responsibilities of these points? Okay, which it consists in the architecture. First is display controller. Display controller is connected as an I/O peripheral to the CPU. Okay. Display buffer stores computer produced display list or display program. The program contains point and line plotting command with endpoint coordinates as well as the character plotting commands. Okay. Display controller interprets the command and sends the digital and point coordinate to a vector generator. Then vector generator converts the digital coordinate value to analog voltage for beam deflection circuits that displays on electron beam which points on the CRT screen. Okay, these are the some working principle. Let us discuss next also. So first of all, what it stores? Display controller connect all the I/O peripherals to the CPU. Then display buffer stores the computer produced display list or display program. The program what contains? The program contains point and line plotting commands with the endpoint coordinate as well as the character plotting coordinate. The display controller interpret the command and send the digital point coordinate to a vector generators. Then vector generator convert the digital coordinate value to analog voltage for beam reflection circuits that displays an electron beam which point on the CRT screen. Okay. Then in this technique, beam is deflected from endpoint to endpoint. This technique is called random scan display. As we know, beam strikes phosphorus coated screen. It emits light, but that light decays after few milliseconds, and therefore it is necessary to repeat through the display list to refresh the screen at least 30 times per second to avoid flicker. Flicker means, in the previous class we have studied, flicker means what? Changes of voltage. Okay. Some up down. As display buffer is used to store display list and used to refreshing. The display list are stored in which area? Display buffer area. So the display list which is stored in the display buffer area, it is also used to refreshing. It is also called refresh buffer. Okay. This is the example in the random scan display we draw a triangle. Okay, to draw the triangle we have how many points to join, or how many lines we have required? 3 lines. Okay, here in the first figure this is the points in this point, and next point is that one, it shows like in this figure, second figure. Okay, the firstly when we draw the triangle, first line we have draw, the first line is like this. Okay, after that we have draw the second line, the second line is here. Okay, then we have connect these two endpoints and draw the second line. After that we have connect the third point to the first point, or we draw the third line, then we draw the next last line, this one. Okay, this one. When we connect 3 lines or 3 endpoints, then we draw a line. But in raster graphic system it will scan all the lines like this and traces out the triangle. Okay, but in this random scan display only it will focus on the line which is required. Then here one term is comes refresh rate. What is refresh rate? To maintain a stable image, the electron beam must sweep the entire surface of the screen and then return to redraw it several times per second. This process is called refreshing. That means refresh rate is the number of times per second that the screen is refreshed. It is measured in Hz. Okay, 30 times per second it will refresh. We have studied. Okay. Next come to the point advantages. A CRT has the electron beam directed only to the parts of the screen where one image is to be drawn. It produces smooth line drawing, higher resolution as compared to the raster scan display. It also requires less memory. These are the advantages of random scan display. Okay. What are the disadvantages? Let's discuss. Realistic image with different shades or different colors cannot be drawn. Here is also color limitation. But in raster scan display, color limitation is not there. Then we display the raster scan versus random scan, or what are the difference between raster scan versus random scan. There are mainly 5 basic differences. First one is electron beam. In raster scan system, electron beam is swept across the screen, one row at a time from top to bottom. Okay, but in random scan system, electron beam is directed only to the part of screen where a picture is to be drawn. In raster scan, it will sweep across one line at a time, but in random scan, it will only focus or only directed to the part of the screen where the picture is drawn. Next basic point is resolution. In raster scan system, resolution is poor because raster system is contrast produced zigzag line, not a smooth lines, that are plotted as discrete point sets. All the points are connected, then a line will be drawn. But in random scan system, its resolution is good because this system produces smooth line drawings because CRT beam directly flows the line path. Okay. Next point is picture definition. In raster scan system, picture definition is stored as a set of intensity values for all screen points called pixel. Where it is stored? It is stored in refresh buffer area. But in random scan display, picture definition is stored as a set of line drawing instruction in a display file. The file is stored in buffer area. Okay. Next point is discussed, basic point, realistic display. In raster scan system, the capability of this system to store the intensity value for pixel makes it well suited for the realistic display of screen scenes contain shadows and color pattern. But in random scan system, these systems are designed for line drawing, not display the realistic shaded scenes or pictures. Okay. Next is draw an image. In raster scan system, screen points or pixels are used to draw an image. But in random scan, mathematical functions are used to draw the image. Okay. So these are the some basic differences between the raster scan system and random scan system. So in this class we have covered what is random scan system or concepts of random scan system. Then what are the basic what are the basic architectures. In the architecture we have covered display controller, video controller, CRT, mouse, keyboard, all these things are, and also refresh buffer. Okay, buffer area. Then we have discussed what are the working principle, how random scan will be worked. Okay, random scan only use the mathematical equations or use the geometrical structures, line, curve, polygons, okay, all these things, and draw only focus the point, only focus the area where we can draw the image, and that line will be joined. Okay, and also covered advantages and disadvantages. Okay, and basic differences also we have covered. Main basic 5 differences are draw an image, then what? Realistic display and picture definition, resolution, electron beam, all these things. These are the 5 main basic differences between the raster scan and random scan. I hope all of you clear about the what is random scan display and what is raster scan display. So that's all in this class. Next class we have discussed.